Know what's worse for the environment? If you currently have a car and you are currently driving that car, a car you already own.
Yeah.
Do you know what's worse for the environment than to continue driving that car? Buying a new car! It's better for you to drive that into the ground than buy a new electric vehicle. If you want to do it because they're fun and they're fast, I get it. I rode in the Tesla thing. Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Awesome. There's some pretty cool cars, and I also like that they're made here in the United States and that Elon Musk left California, who, by the way, also tried to force a transition to green energy. Think of that for a second. Elon Musk, is there anyone who's done more for green energy or energy advancement, certainly as it relates to the automobile, than Elon Musk? And he had to leave California for Texas. That should tell you how this ends.
That's incredible. That's our government, folks.
Well, and it's a
right there.
tax credit telling you to spend $60,000 on a car.
Which is worse for the environment
Yes.
than just driving your car into the ground. The best thing you can do is just not purchase a new car. Keep driving that one.
I don't
But
know
the
how-
idea of collapsing an entire country, well, the world, for 2 years, and then saying you need to go out and buy all this stuff is astonishing to me. The disconnect between the rich-ass politicians and everybody else in this country is insane to me.
You don't need to be a crazy conspiracy theorist to understand the Great Reset. Let's just go through these steps here, okay? We have inflation. First off, he lies and he says there is no inflation. Then he says, well, inflation doesn't really matter. Then he says it's a good thing. Then he says, well, I'm going to fix this by keeping costs down. Okay, well, let's even go back before that, before we had the inflation. We had an economy that was shut down artificially because the government effectively punished companies. And we also had people who were getting wages, so they were encouraged not to work. So we had a low labor force participation rate. We had an incredible jobless rate. By the way, we still have not added one new job since our peak of 2019. Not one over that, just to be clear. So we've not added any new jobs. We've had a net loss of jobs. We have record inflation. And by the way, all of this was created by the people who are here to help, the government. Their solution now is we're going to force prices to be lower. By the way, prices that you can't afford regardless, even if we had the power to force them to be lower. We're going to enact energy policy under the guise of climate justice that will, he just said it. I'm not straw manning him here. You can rewind this 85 seconds where he said the price of gas, the price of energy, ergo all goods and services that you use in your daily life, will go up while trying to force you to buy or encourage you to buy cars, green cars, which are unbelievably more expensive than the average vehicle and certainly your old beater that you're driving. This is the solution at this point. And then vilify oil companies. Oh, and by the way, we also just declared BlackRock too big to fail. That's what Elizabeth Warren was pushing for. Who's a $10, $12 trillion company. How much are they right now? It's definitely 10 trillion or above.
Yeah.
Who are buying up all of the real estate so that they can create a permanent renter's economy because you will own nothing and you will like it. Everything will be out of reach. You can't afford it. They'll try and provide a credit so that you can maybe try and put yourself into more debt to purchase a new car that you don't need while you're renting from a house that is being leased by one of the world's, not one of, arguably the world's most powerful company that has ever existed, who, by the way, are guaranteed by you, the taxpayer. Doesn't matter if they go bankrupt and bail you up. You're going to bail them out anyway. You will own nothing and you will like it as we fight for freedom of Ukraine. Send our boys to war to fight for freedom in this Ukrainian conflict. Yeah, that's what we got to do. That's what, okay. You mean free? What is freedom? Let's define what freedom is. Can we define what freedom is? The freedom to travel, the freedom to purchase any goods and services that you want, provided that it's not harming anyone else or that it's illegal. The freedom to choose what goes into your own body. The freedom to, as an employer, allow your own employees to choose what goes into their own body. Think of how bastardized that is. When you talk about an employer mandate, it's not only forbidding people from choosing what is forcibly injected into them, it's actually telling employers that they're not even allowed to permit their own employees to make their decisions. You will own nothing and like it. You will have no freedoms and like it. And we'll send the rest of our soldiers off to fight wars in which we have no vested self-interest.